Stop number 7 on the Castrol GTX Cup Series brings us to North Wilkesboro Speedway in the brushy mountains of North Carolina. As we're here for running the Food City, or not Food City, bleh, this ain't Bristol anymore. Of the First Union 400, as we're set for 60 laps of action on this .625 mile racetrack, about 5/8 of a mile long, or no, it's 2/3 of a mile long. Excuse me. Anyway, on the pole for this event here today. It is Quentin Moore for the third time this season, and the second straight race he's been on the pole for this event, for the season. He's in the Quaker State Buick car number 26. He has our in-car camera, one of the 3 in-car cameras in this event here today. He'll be alongside the winner at Bristol, Keith Batson, the Texaco Haviland Ford car 28. Texaco starts on the outside. Starting in row number 2 is the winner of this season at Richmond, Jessica Shelton, in the number 9 Coors Melling Ford. She's alongside Cole Beaver, the winner at Rockingham, the GM Goodwrench Chevrolet car number 3. Going to the third row, we'll have Kyle Matthews, the number 42 Melliella Pontiac. He is alongside car 52, Seth Cole, the Eureka Vacuum Cleaners Pontiac. He is our second in-car camera. Row number 4 has Joshua Osborne. He's won here before in the Folgers Chevrolet car number 25, as also has, and of course, Osborne's not only won here, but also has Shelton. She's won here before too. Here, Kev Shears won here before too in Wilkesboro, and he starts alongside Osborne in car 71, the Buck Stove Oldsmobile. Next round has another former Wilkesboro winner, Levi McIntyre, next to the Tide Chevrolet car 17. He'll be alongside car 90, Jesse Turner, in the Red Baron Frozen Pizza Ford. Next row down has car 29, Zachary Fitzwater, the Hardee's Oldsmobile, and number 43 STP Pontiac of Mike Becker. Next row down is Dylan Young in number 2, the J.D. Stacey Buick, and another Dylan, as alongside car 22, the Miller American Buick of Dylan Poteet. Next row down has Zach Rogers in 33, and number 12, Rob Evans. Next row down after that will be car number 5, Phil Parker in the Levi Garrett Chevy, and number 1, Zach Winkle in the Uno Buick. He won the season in the Daytona 500. Next row down has Johnny Gardner in number 11, the Mountain Dew Buick. He'll be alongside car 75, the Valvoline Pontiac of Daniel Bouchard. Next row down is Kat Batson in 21, the Purelator Ford. She'll be alongside car number 50, Jean Sanford in her Pontiac. Sanford won the season at Atlanta. Next row down is William Brocken Ford, a Kodak Film Oldsmobile. He'll be alongside car 7. It is Wes McCoy and the Xerox Danny Freeze Ford. Next round has car 18, Matt McIntyre, the Interstate Battery Chevrolet. He'll be alongside car number 30, Jay Jefferson in the Country Time Pontiac. Next round, Charles Sanford in 24, the DuPont Chevrolet, and number 88, Nathan Ormond, the Gatorade Buick. Next round after that would be Nathan Hudson in car 47, Ray Steel Farms Buick. He'll be alongside car number 83. It is Emmanuel Harden in the Wins Kmart Oldsmobile. Next round is Mitchell Collins in 70, the Suns Medford Speed Pontiac. He'll be alongside car number 8. It is Matt Haas in the Miller American Buick. Next round is Paul Minnick in the Strolight Ford, car number 6. He'll be alongside car 14. It is Kyle Langland in the Copenhagen Oldsmobile. Next round down, Jackson Haywood in 15, the Wrangler Jeans Ford. Next, then after him will be Ryan George in 44, the J.D. Stacey Buick. Next round down has car number 94, Ryan Brommer in the Sunoco Ultra Oldsmobile, and R.J. Bishop in car number 27, the Kodiak Pontiac. Next round down has Alex Miller in 51, the Valvoline Oldsmobile. He'll be alongside, it is Henry Sanford in 55, the Copenhagen Chevrolet. And the man who, in the starting shotgun field, will be the man who didn't make any friends at all at Bristol, causing about 6 of those 8 caution flags we had at that race, Austin Colano in the Carolina Tools Ford, car number 13. That race proved that 13 was an unlucky number at Bristol without question here. And that is actually true that we had a 75 lap race at Bristol, had 8 caution flags, and 40 of those 75 laps were run under yellow for an average speed of just under 60 miles per hour. So at least it was all made up with that finish at Bristol without question here.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
But the finish was all worthwhile, though, with Keith Batson winning that race, holding off Seth Cole. And Keith starts outside pole, looking for 2 in a row today here at North Wilkesboro. Field of 41 rolls off onto the racetrack here. We'll be right back for the start right after this. Back at North Wilkesboro Speedway here as the field is getting set for green flag racing here. Quentin Moore, his second straight pole in the season. That 26 car has been very fast on the short tracks this season. It was fast at Bristol. Unfortunately, had a mechanical failure in that race. It was fast at Richmond. Came home with a top 10 finish in that race. Here it goes. Green flag is out. We're underway in the first GTX 400. Quentin Moore and Seth Cole both have in-car cameras. We should mention that Matt McIntyre has our third in-car camera in this event here today. As Moore pulls ahead for the lead, here comes Jessica Shelton for second place. Here's Shelton, the defending winner here in the first GTX 400. She's won at Wilkesboro twice, by the way. Twice or three times, something like that, whichever. Two of us was in the first GTX race, and the other was in the Holly Farms race, the second race we have in this track. Seth Cole hung up on the high side. Kyle Matthews steps slow, takes away fifth position. Kyle has won on a few tracks in this series before, but this is the one he wants to cross off his bucket list. He wants to win at Wilkesboro very badly, the man from Ohio, and he qualified very well, top 5. He's got a pretty good shot at it here today. And of course, well, anybody has a good shot to win here at Wilkesboro without question, but nonetheless, it is. But we'll see what happens here in the 60 laps that will ensue here today. Here we have completed 3 of those laps, so we're down to 57 to go. Cole Deaver runs in 4th position. Keith Batson runs in 3rd. Battle for position here between Joshua Osborne and Seth Cole. Joshua in 25, Seth in 52. There it is, the here Chevrolet versus Pontiac. On board with Seth Cole in car 52. See how fast Seth goes around this racetrack here. About 128 miles an hour into turn number 3. He'll be down to about maybe 94 miles an hour in the middle of 3 and 4. Goes then down the front stretch here, 131 miles an hour into turn number 1. And down about 96 in the middle of 1 and 2. And I see 128 again in the middle of 3, and going in turn 3, and down to 93 miles an hour in the middle of 3 and 4. Comes off the 4th turn, yellow flag flies for the first time. And that last lap for Seth Cole, 110.969 was the last lap by. And it's Austin Colano in the 13 car. Yeah, what do you know? 13 car Colano crosses the first caution flag of the day. Much like he calls about, like I said about 6 of those cautions at Bristol. And looks like the other car involved in the crash was the 51 car of Alex Miller. Take a look as to what happened. The caution coming out on as they completed the 5th lap of the race. There were 3 laps between Miller, Brommer, and Zach Winkle. And actually, there was a car that spun right there just up in front of them. That was Zach Rogers in number 33. We'll look and see what happened to him. Rogers was battling with the 4 car of William Brock as they come off the 4th corner. And William looks like he gave Rogers a bit of a tapper there. Rogers goes into the wall on the inside lane. Several cars do a pretty good job of avoiding him. And then Alex Miller just bams right into the Rogers car. Actually, Colano was just an innocent victim in this whole thing. And actually, himself in the 13 car, he actually had nothing to do with that crash. It was the 4 tapping the 33 machine. And I thought I saw a crash happen up ahead. Oh, it was Ryan Brommer in the 94 car. He flipped. He and Zach Winkle got involved in this whole deal. Those two actually made it through the crash, as while the bunch of behind was wrecking. Winkle just drove Brommer up in the wall in turn number 1 and sent the 94 car upside down, sliding along the roof at a frightening. Well, for sliding on the roof at a frightening 45 miles an hour. Here, sliding along the pavement though scrubs off a lot of speed though, but unfortunately, we mentioned the damage has already been done, and Brommer ends up on his roof. That's where he lands, obviously. But so first caution flag flies for the day at North Wilkesboro. Brommer obviously out of the race, and along also with Austin Colano, Zach Rogers, and the 51 car of Alex Miller. They're a tough break for Rogers. It looks like he had a pretty good shot of running good here today as well. After, as we mentioned, a good season last season, winning 4 times and finishing number 5 in the points. But Zach's finding this season 25 a plenty tough deal. So the pace cars lights are off here. They're about to get set for green flag here. Quentin Moore's the leader. Jessica Shelton is second position. Those two usually run very well at North Wilkesboro every time, though, too. Keith Batson's third, Cole Deaver fourth, and Kyle Matthews runs in the number 5 spot with Joshua Osborne 6th, Seth Cole 7th. 8th position is now Levi McIntyre, Zachary Fitzwater 9th, and Jesse Turner 10th. Green flag back out on lap number 12. And Shelton up on the back bumper, that 26 car, Quentin Moore. Trying to hold that Buick down on the low line of the track here against Shelton's all-powerful Ford. There you see the field going in third turn here. 11th position is Dylan Young. 12th right now is Phil Parker. Kev Shears 13th. And the car on pit road, that's Matt Haas in the 8 car. There he is. They're 35 miles an hour on pit road, and that is a killer under green flag conditions at North Wilkesboro. He is going to go. I don't know if he's serving a penalty or what, though, or had an unscheduled stop, though. But Matt Haas is. Looks like he is probably going to go a lap down to the leader, Quentin Moore. Matt's going off turn number 4. Quentin's going into turn 3 right now. So that's separation in a moment here as the racing resumes here. Kev Shears 13th as we leave off the field for you here. Johnny Gardner's 14th. 15th right now is Matt McIntyre, who's having another solid run here today. Matt off to a pretty good start on the season in some ways, too, as he comes off turn number 4. As you ride along with Matt McIntyre in the number 18 Interstate Battery Chevrolet. Matt's best lap, 110.674 miles an hour. As he comes off the 4th turn here, Matt running in 15th position up ahead, Johnny Gardner in 14th at the moment. Matt's now turning his best lap, 111.029. He runs 15th. 16th is William Brock. 17th is Charles Sanford. 18th position right now is Dylan Poteet. Kat Batson 29, or actually, she's 19th in car 21. And Wes McCoy runs in 20th position with Mike Becker 21st. Rob Evans, who won at Darlington this season, is in 22nd. Gene Simper 23rd. 24th is Mitchell Collins. 25th is Nathan Hudson. Paul Minnick 26th. Jay Jefferson 27th. And Nathan Orman 28th. 29th right now is Zach Winkle. 30th is Jackson Haywood. 31st Henry Sanford. 32nd Daniel Bouchard. 33rd Emmanuel Hartnett. 34th is Ryan George. Kyle Langland and R.J. Bishop is the last in that pack, though. Matt Haas runs in 37th position at the moment. Quentin Moore, meantime, is pulling away a little bit from the battle now for second place between Jessica Shelton and Keith Batson. There is more here. Is Shelton and Batson, a pair of Fords, a pair of 1987 Thunderbirds. And those two die-hard fans of their own legion in some ways. There, Keith Batson, a huge Ford fan. He's all Ford, in other words, in any series that he runs here. And whereas Jessica Shelton, Bill Elliott, here representing one of her favorite drivers, Bill Elliott, also a fan of Kevin Harvick and Matt Kenseth as well too. Maybe a little bit, and maybe Bobby Labonte too. I think is what she told me. But anyway. And not to mention, you got another one, and so some of the drivers here, the paint schemes they run, they're fans of their own right, though. Of course, Cole Deaver, a classic example too, a huge Dale Earnhardt Chevrolet fan. the GM Goodrich scheme. He runs right there. Kyle Matthews always a big Kyle Petty fan, and also a Terry Labonte and Jeff Gordon fan as well too. Talking about the man in the 42 mellow yellow colors. So a lot of people sometimes the schemes that they run here sometimes that's kind of their own shtick in some ways too. But Deaver runs 4th position. Matthews running in 5th position there. Deaver from the state of Georgia. Matthews from Ohio is where he's at there. So you got Ohio, Georgia, Maine, South Carolina, and I'm not sure where Quentin is from, but he leads this race though. The 26 Quaker State Buick. We saw how fast Seth Cole and Matt McIntyre runs around this track here. Let's take a ride with Quentin Moore on his lap here, as he completes the 26th lap of this race, ironically because we're in car number 26 at the moment. Quentin out for a nice Sunday drive at North Wilkesboro Speedway here as he comes off the second turn. Moore driving this track Quentin Moore driving this track smoothly here as a little bit as they go through the turns. He's 96 miles an hour through the middle of 1 and 2. Off turn number 2 on the backstretch, and the third turn he goes about 126 in the middle of 3 in turn number 3, and about 92 in the middle of 3 and 4 is how fast he's running. And that last time by 109.890 miles per hour. Matt Haas is up ahead of this whole bunch. He is about to go a second lap down. Quentin Knowles the fastest up race so far at 111.557. Shelton at 111.254. An average speed of just a little over 90.5 miles an hour. So a pretty good pace so far. Wilkesboro, we're about to complete the halfway lap. 30 in the books and 30 laps remaining in the first GM 400. There is Shelton and Batson still down for second position here. Keith trying to get around Jess, but Jess proving to have the superior car so far, but we'll see as they come off the second corner. Osborne still runs in 6th position. Seth Cullen 7th. Levi McIntyre is running 8th. Zachary Fitzwater in 9th. In 10th position is the 90 car of Jesse Turner. Jesse Turner not having much of a season in that 90 machine, though, but to start things off, though, but he is running. But so far running pretty good here at North Wilkesboro Speedway so far. He runs in the 10th position. Dylan Young's behind him in 11th. Then Phil Parker, Kev Shearer, Johnny Gardner, and Matt McIntyre. That is the top 15 at the moment. Matt McIntyre, by the way, has another driver that's won here before. In fact, his first ever Castrol GTX Cup Series victory came right here at North Wilkesboro. That's him in the 18 machine. He won this race. I think it was in season 22. I think it was in the Holly Farms 400, and where he beat Jessica Shelton to win that day. And Matt will tell you that's one of his biggest victories. He also won the next race after that at Charlotte. So Matt, so some can say out of all the NR racer people who is in the NR offline community, Matt in some ways is kind of the one of the more underrated drivers in some ways in our offline racing. Now, to my knowledge, I don't know if he's ever online raced or not, but still. But anyway, as far as the offline brigade, he's no problem at all. Johnny Gardner right now, 14th position. His season off to a kind of a so-so start to some extent, though, in the number 11 machine. And he usually runs pretty good at Wilkesboro himself, though. Not as good as he hopes so far, though right now he's in 14th position. Kev Shearer ahead of him in 13th. There's Phil Parker in 12th. Again, Dylan Young running in 10th. And there's the cars behind them. William Brock, Charles Sanford, Dylan Poteet, in 22. Then Cat Batson and Mike Becker has moved his way through the field now. Becker up to 20th position as he's gotten past Rob Evans and Gene Sanford. And now Becker trying to go up underneath Cat Batson in 21. Ford in the white and red 21 and the blue and red 43. About to complete the 38th lap of this race here. We will have 22 laps remaining. As I see the cars right there going down the front stretch here. Matt Haas, I see him right there in the 8 car. And Quentin Moore's not that far behind him, about maybe a half a straightaway. Matt right now is not on. Matt is 37th, but he is not. Matt is in 37th position. He is not on the lead lap, though. He's a lap down. 36 cars still remain on the lead lap of this race here, however. But boy, Quentin Moore has got quite a setup under that 26 Quaker State Buick. He had quite a setup at Bristol, the last race in the Tour, started for the pole in that race, but unfortunately, mechanical failure under yellow knocked him right out of the race, and gave the lead and the win to Keith Batson. Quentin hopes his Buick equipment holds up for about another 19 more laps. So in the Quaker State machine, Jessica Shelton still remains in second position here. Jess, as we mentioned, a 3-time winner at Wilkesboro. Keith Batson, he's yet to win here, but hard to believe. He's never won here. Cole Deaver's never won here. Kyle Matthews has never won here. Sad to say for him. As we mentioned, Kyle would like to win at Wilkesboro for once himself, though, but unfortunately, it's not been the case for him so far. So, everything right now still pretty much remains status quo at the moment, though. Not much passing here at Wilkesboro before on this racetrack here today, I should say. Everything's staying quietly in single file, with the exception of that crash we had on the front stretch in turn 1. Way back on the fifth lap of the race, so other than that, though, everything's been smooth, calm, and collected here today. As we're down now to 15 laps to go, coming by this time, will be 15 to go. Mike Becker, you see him looking low on Cat Batson for the position right there. 43 and 21 cars. That's for 19th position. Cat on the outside, Becker on the low side. Ford versus Pontiac. And you see Gene Simmer now looking low on the 12 car of Rob Evans. Rob's car painted similarly to not Gene Simmers, but the 21 of Cat Batson. Except one's a Chevy and the other's a Ford. The 21 car is a Ford and the 12 is a Chevy. And you got 2 Pontiacs on the low side over there. One a 1988 model and the other a 1982 model. Off the 4th turn they come here as Mike Becker takes the position away. Now Gene Sanford looks low on Cat Batson, the 50 and the 21 machines. Cat has the high side. Gene looks low in the 50 machine. And she's going to have Rob Evans pushing her in the 21 machine. Meantime, Charles Sanford tries to look low on the 14 car, or I should say on the number 4 car of William Brock. Brock in the number 4 Oldsmobile 24 Chevrolet of Charles Sanford. And you got the number 22 car of Dylan Poteet as they go into turn number 1. 10 to go this time, by the way, for the leader, Quentin Moore, as he has now crossed lane 4, 10 laps remaining. Margin so far 1.46 seconds, and that is quite a margin between the first and second position cars there. So Quentin's got a rather substantial lead right now at the moment between the front 2 machines. And meantime, Comet is feeling the pressure from Joshua Osborne in 25. Seth Cole in the 52 machine. On board with Seth Cole. As he now moves up the high side of the racetrack here, and peeking the low side is Levi McIntyre in the 17 car. Eight laps remaining. Several cars there to see the pace. Dropping off quite a bit, though, from earlier in the race here. You see, in the case of Seth Cole, he was 110.9 early in the race here. His pace now down to about almost 107 miles an hour. Well, his pace that time by was 107, so... But the pace is not as fast as it once was earlier in this race here, obviously, with the tires kind of wearing out a little bit. In the meantime, Quentin Moore has got the 8 car of Matt Haas up ahead of him there. Quentin trying to get around. Five laps remaining. Margin that time by 1.79 seconds. So unless that 8 car gives Quentin a lot of trouble there with him trying to pass, though, that's going to be spelled doom for that 26 machine, maybe, as far as the... I don't know, though. He gained a lot. He actually pulled away from Shelton that time by, so maybe using a bit of a draft off the number 8 machine. That car also a Buick, by the way, just like the 26 car is. Three laps remaining for Quentin Moore. His last lap by 106.99 miles per hour. Battle for second still raging on between Jessica Shelton and Keith Batson. Batson closing up just a little bit off that 4th corner, though. Shelton knows one little slip in the turn number 1, and Batson's buyer for that second position. Meantime, Quentin Moore sees the white flag this time by as 1 lap remaining in this event here as Quentin looks low on Matt Haas. White flag is out, though, on Quentin Moore. He is on his last lap. He has started from this race from the pole and is about to grab his first victory of the season. The number 26 Quaker State Buick off the 4th corner. Quentin Moore wins the first Union 400 at North Wilkesboro. Second place goes to Jessica Shelton. Third spot to Keith Batson. Cole Deaver comes home 4th, and Kyle Matthews comes home in 5th. 6th will go to Joshua Osborne. 7th to Seth Cole. 8th to Levi McIntyre. 9th to Zachary Bitzwater, and Jesse Turner ends up finishing in 10th position. But there's the dominator of the day, and what a performance too for Quentin Moore. I'm sure he's going to want to bring that car back to the next time we go to North Wilkesboro for the Holly Farms 400, which is the next time after that. And that'll be, I think, the 4th to the last race of the season. I'm not sure. That'll be stop number. Actually, I don't know what number stop that will be, but it'll be late in the season when that race runs. So 7 races are in the books here. Average speed 98.978 miles an hour. Gave me the top 10 already. 11th position will go to Dylan Young, Phil Parker 12, Kev Shearer 13th, then Johnny Gardner and Matt McIntyre the top 15. 16th through 20 is William Brock, Charles Sanford, Dylan Poteet, Mike Becker, and Gene Sanford. Rest of the finishing order here for you here. Kat Batson matches her car number finishing 21st in car number 21. Then Rob Evans will be 22nd. Mitchell Collins, Nathan Hudson, Wes McCoy, Jay Jefferson, Nathan Orman, excuse me. Paul Minnick, Zach Winkle, and Henry Sanford the top 30. Then Emmanuel Hartnett, Jackson Haywood, R.J. Bishop, Ryan George, Dana Bouchard, and Kyle Langland, the last car to finish on the lead lap in 36th. And Matt Haas was the only car not on the lead lap. He ends up finishing 37th, 1 lap down. Cars out of the race: Zach Rogers, Ryan Brommer, Alex Miller, and Austin Colano. So that will do it here at North Wilkesboro Speedway. Congratulations again to Quentin Moore, the winner of the first Union 400, and as he brings the Quaker State Buick to victory lane. And if you like what you see here, be sure to subscribe to the NNSCRA Sports and Gaming channel. We got everything on the channel. We got in our races, gaming videos, in our online races, whatever the president of the NNSCRA Seth Cole desires for his channel. And be sure to subscribe to us on Facebook and also like the page, subscribe to us on YouTube and like the page on Facebook. Bleh. Marty Reed ESPN fail right there. Anyway, so anyway, give this channel a subscribe here, and also keep up on the NNSCRA Duracell Cup Series. That is Seth Cole's series. I'm sure his series is a whole lot better than what I have to offer, obviously. But anyway, that will do it. So yeah, some of the best stuff under the NNSCRA Sports and Gaming channel. And we will not regret checking this channel out neither. So that will do it here today in Norfolk Pro Speedway. Congratulations again to Quentin Moore, the winner of the Virginia 400 in Norfolk here today. For now, this is James Qualls in the production of the NNSCRA. Offline racing at its best. We will see you at the shortest and the slowest at Martinsville.